everyone, and welcome to the Who's Who in Guyana Business TV Show. I'm your host, Deborah Baird-Hutson, and today we have a packed show for you. First, we'll start off with Coach Prem. He'll be teaching you how to unlock your business's potential with our 12-week business masterclass. This business masterclass is offered by Action Coach Guyana, an ISO certified and award-winning business and executive coaching company in Guyana. Secondly, you'll hear from Coach Keon. He'll be teaching you the importance of networking, building valuable connections, and knowledge sharing with business owners alike. And finally, we bring you the IBC Insider. The International Business Conference is scheduled for October 15th to 17th at the Guyana Marriott Hotel. And the IBC Insider will give you exclusive looks at what you should look forward to at the conference, why this is the place to be, and how your businesses can grow.
Up next, should you be in business with Deborah Austin?
Aspiring entrepreneurs often overlook.
They overlook the leadership aspect of it in terms of knowing how to better deal with their customers and also the staff that they manage. They also overlook the ability to adapt changes and their problem-solving mechanisms within their businesses.
Perfect. Can you share any examples or stories where a lack of preparation has led to challenges or even business failure?
Sure. I can remember dealing with a customer who had an excellent business idea. It was to open his own mechanic shop. He had all the right tools. He had all the right equipment. He had a good location. But what he failed to do was market his business enough. So what happened is he opened the business, and because of poor marketing, he was only able to attract a small amount of customers. And because of that, was not able to make the amount of money that he should have been making had he done proper marketing. And eventually the business was forced to close.
Would be to conclude by emphasizing the importance of being prepared and considering whether it's better to gain experience in a job before starting a business.
With my experience, what I would say for businesses, it is important that you not just have a passion for what you want to do, but that you prepare. And that preparation, in some cases, may come from you working with a similar business that you want to start, so that you can see firsthand and have that experience to see the challenges that they may face and how they're able to address those challenges.
Up next, employment opportunities in Guyana with Dr. Vishnu Doerga.
I'm Vishnu Doerga. I'm the Chair and Business Development Director of ActionINVEST Caribbean, and my focus is bringing ideas to reality.
Okay, Dr. Doerga. And we know that ActionINVEST Caribbean particularly is a business development and training company, and particularly one of your focus is, of course, enhancing businesses in Guyana through human capital. Can you tell us what are some of the key industries that are currently driving employment growth in Guyana?
Well, of course, one of the main ones are energy and energy related. We have almost 8,000 Guyanese now employed in the energy sector, both directly with the main operator and then through all the tier 1 contractors and their subcontractors. Besides that, of course, every Guyanese would see the level of infrastructure that is being built from a public and private sector perspective. So we are at the start of a construction boom in this country that will most likely last for at least 10 years. So that is definitely driving a lot of construction jobs, but not just construction, also the supply of all the hardware that is needed to turn these projects into a reality. Beyond that, we are moving to a place where there is a lot more focus on agriculture, agro-processing, and manufacturing. By another year or so, we expect much lower cost electricity in Guyana, about 50% of what it is today, which will really allow for a lot more mechanization and automation when it comes to manufacturing. So we expect that sector to grow significantly as well to meet the needs of not just Guyana, but the Caribbean and even further afield. And we also see, if I had to add, a final one, we also see that every single month we're beating the numbers of tourist arrivals of the previous month and previous year. So every single month, more and more business and leisure visitors are coming to Guyana, which means that we also have a bustling tourism and hospitality sector now, with the hotels that are fully booked, all our attractions that are getting a lot of traffic. So I think there's a lot of opportunity there as well for people to upskill themselves into the tourism and hospitality field. And yeah, these are definitely some areas that are booming at the moment.
Perfect. But Dr. Doerga, we know with the emergence of the oil and gas sector, there is now stark competition for our traditional non-oil sectors. And like you said, while it is important to have an attitude of service and understand the importance of growing and then knowing about that progression of getting remunerated accordingly, most persons now think that because Guyana is thriving and booming in that sector, that they should be paid high, even if they're intermediate and just entering. For persons now entering the job market, how important is it to have realistic expectations about starting salaries and career progression?
I always think about it, when you are a student, you're actually paying to learn. Your first job and maybe the first decade of your working career is really you getting paid to learn. So if you get into this attitude of unrealistic expectations, what you'll end up with is very realistic frustrations, because any employer out there that is paying you a salary has some expectations. And remember, when they pay you that salary, that is the input into the organization. Whatever you're producing as an output needs to be significantly higher than the input. Nobody wants to pay you $200,000 to receive only $200,000 in value. They need to be able to generate a lot more on that in terms of profit, in order to not just make sure that you are covered, but the expenses of the organization and some profit for the people who invested the money in the first place. So keep an eye on that, because if you don't understand that formula, you will come in with unrealistic expectations that organizations cannot meet. And we're even seeing the trend now in the oil and gas industry, where many people are either being let go or they resign because they cannot handle the demand of those positions, the level of reporting that is needed, the level of professionalism that is needed. And being a professional means that we can reliably depend on you to deliver a predictable result. That is what being a professional means. I can't pay you and hope that maybe somehow I might get a result. That's not being a professional. So if you are looking for professional level salaries, you do have to be ready to deliver professional level results, which takes some time. So I would encourage you, be patient. Don't end up being a jack of all trade and a master of none. Master the skill that you really want to be known for, that you know that you can guarantee delivering results, and that's where the reward comes from.
Perfect. I have two more questions for you. You did mention that being a professional means that you can be relied on to produce a particular result consistently. And I know we have a generation now that is sometimes very occupied with setting a lot of numbers in terms of work experience, but not too keen on longevity. Particularly in Guyana, what advice would you give to young professionals looking to build long-term careers?
I would say definitely get some career guidance. Find someone that you trust, that has your best interest at heart, and ensure that they ask you the questions that will help you discover as well what your talent is, what you really enjoy doing, what is something that is in demand in the society where you want to live, what is something that is also a skill, a talent, a vocation that you can get paid for. So having those 4 or 5 things in place will allow you to pick a direction that you can enjoy the journey of arriving at. And yeah, and also what I wanted to ensure that you know as well is that when you go down that path, a lot of the initial years will be you learning that particular skill. And what we would want to do is to ensure that you don't end up quitting jobs that really are along the way of where you really want to develop the skill, because any employer that is like your dream employer, your employer that could have really allowed you to do the maximum with your talent, will be looking at your CV, and if they see 6 months here, a month there, 2 years there, and it's already adding up to 5, 10 jobs, and you're not even 30 as yet, the first thing they start thinking is that you're not going to be around for very long, and it doesn't make sense investing the time, energy, and money bringing you into their organization. So really get advice early on. Whenever you're in doubt, talk to a couple of mentors, get their perspectives. The reason they will be your mentors is that they have a lot more wisdom than you do. You have to be open to that and accept that, and then make more informed decisions.
Perfect. And so my final question is, you did say focus on what is in demand wherever you are. Like you said, there are a lot of jobs in energy, in infrastructure, construction. There's so much going on. However, sometimes you find persons are still not employed, and even if they are, sometimes even the employer cannot keep them long term. And sometimes it can be a lack of education on both sides. And so, what initiatives are in place or could be developed to help bridge the gap between job seekers' skills and the needs of businesses? And whether that would be through collaboration with the Ministry of Labor, through job fairs, what initiatives can be done to ensure that there is a right match, but also ensure that job seekers are educated enough with all of the skills, soft and practical skills needed to ensure that it's always going to be big.
So some of the key resources, of course, are the Ministry of Labor, the various technical and other tertiary education institutes that can help with the preparation of the workforce. Of course, paying attention to the different job boards, the vacancies. There are a lot of staffing and recruiting companies as well that you can actually have a discussion with them and let them know the type of career that you're looking for so that they can do the matching for you. But at a very practical level, I would encourage both the employers to have a really good LinkedIn presence. LinkedIn is like the professional business social media, like what Facebook is to friends and family. That is what LinkedIn means to business and career-oriented people. So companies definitely need to have a very clear profile that also identifies who they're looking for in the organization. And job seekers, professionals, need to have very well built out LinkedIn profiles that clearly show your education, that show your experience, that shows endorsements of people who have worked with you and know what you are able to deliver. And you even also have the ability to identify the types of roles that you're looking for on LinkedIn. I would encourage you, if you really know your dream organization and you know where you'd really like to be because you've seen the talent that is in that organization, the mission that that organization is pursuing, then find people who are in that organization and have a chat with them. Ask them, is this all a facade, or do you guys really do things to get to that level, and have a discussion. And I always believe in not writing applications, but writing proposals. When you get to a level of being a professional, you don't do applications. You do a proposal. You say to the organization that I have studied you. I know what you're about. I am really well aligned with that. This is what I bring to the table, and this is how I believe I can help your organization move to the next level. And any right-minded CEO or HR manager will take you seriously. If they don't, then it's most likely not an organization that will suit you anyhow. So with all that said, make sure that you invest the time in your own development and align with an organization that can help you get the maximum out of your potential.
Academy Inc. We are the premier provider for private education in Guyana, and through our mission, our excellent team delivers a well-balanced curriculum that integrates technology and innovation to our educational programs to inspire children to reach their highest levels of success. Check us out at any one of our 4 locations or contact us today. Enroll now for nursery, primary, and secondary level. Camille's Academy Inc. Be inspired to innovate.
Discover a whole new level of engine performance. Ready for the twists and turns. Ready for the road less traveled. Ready for the unexpected. Ready for the thrill. Extreme performance. Hyundai X-Tier.
It's important to know these disc styles so you can begin to better understand the people around you. It's also important to understand that we are all a blend of these styles. Sure, we can adapt those blends based on our environment or when a specific situation calls for one style over the other. But more often than not, we've all got to accept our DISC and learn to live, work, and play and accept these basic truths. So there you have it. We're all different, but we are predictably different.
Hello everyone, welcome to IBC Insider, your gateway to everything that's happening at the International Business Conference 2024. Over the next few weeks, we'll be bringing you exclusive insights, in-depth interviews, and behind-the-scenes looks at what promises to be one of the most monumental business events of 2024.
Mr. President, thank you for engaging us today. You know we want to talk about the IBC and manufacturing specifically, but to get into it, could you perhaps outline your vision for manufacturing in Guyana for us?
Well, as you know, historically, Guyana has been competitive in every area in manufacturing. We have a very skilled workforce, a very talented workforce, and we know that we have to invest in the continuous upskilling of the workforce, and we have been doing that. We are also very open to bringing in skilled labor and also specialized labor, depending on the manufacturing activity. And we want to invest and get investment in manufacturing at every level, from the micro level, the medium-sized level, and of course, upskill sophisticated manufacturing activities. One of the areas that we were never competitive in was the cost of energy. Very soon, this will be fixed because the cost of energy will be reduced by half it is today. And the reliability of energy will also improve because of the building of new power plants and so on. We have already assessed that we'll need a second power plant. And very soon, we'll be launching a request for proposal for the second power plant. So in the overall ecosystem that supports manufacturing, Guyana will be one of the most competitive locations for investment in manufacturing. Our geographic positioning also offers us easy access to Brazil. And right now, we are investing in infrastructure to integrate northern Brazil with all of Guyana. So the market potential, and given our expanded trade relations, not only in CARICOM, but in Latin America, Central America, where we are having more bilateral trade arrangement, the ease and access to markets is becoming much simpler, less bureaucratic. So all of this combines itself to give us an enormous platform, a competitive platform for investment in manufacturing, especially supporting small manufacturers and medium size, focusing on agro-processing, focusing on technology, focusing on machining. These are things that the local economy is propping up and has enormous potential. The fact also that we are creating a food hub in Guyana, a regional food hub, also points to the fact that we are serious about Guyana becoming a major food exporter, not raw material, not only looking at the raw production, but adding value to that production. So we are expanding acreage in terms of cultivation. So we'll have the yield. We are adding technology to it. So volume will be there. It is now converting that volume into a finished value-added product. So all of this, I think, the entire policy-making frame surrounds supporting agro-processing, supporting manufacturing. And what we have seen is all over the world, from the Middle East, U.S. investors, strong interest now in agro-processing and manufacturing. Take, for example, the dairy industry. In less than 2 years, we have over $45 million investment, private investment, coming to this sector. So one of the things, too, that we are working on is creating an enabling environment here where we'll have backward and forward linkages, for example, in the poultry sector, for all poultry meat product, processed meat products, sausage plants, then working backwards to have the soybean and corn for feed production. And it's the same thing for aquaculture. We want to become a net exporter of prawns, a net exporter of meat, and also poultry. So there's tremendous potential, and we are working on converting this potential into reality.
Mr. President, you clearly defined your vision, but can you tell us a bit about how you're incentivizing investors?
Well, I think we have the best incentive regime for manufacturing, a very competitive regime, both on the fiscal side and look at the support, the infrastructure support that government is giving, building out the infrastructure to support manufacturing. So we are creating different hubs. Some of these hubs will be tax-free zone to encourage investment. So we're looking at LATAM, Region 9, which is a border with Brazil. We're looking at Linden. We're looking at Region 2, Region 6, and some other areas that will come under a special investment regime. So we'll have a special act that define and more development zone, the Wales development zone. All of this will come under a special investment regime that will go to Parliament and outline clearly that these areas will have special and differential treatment because we want to stimulate the growth and expansion in those areas.
When might that happen? The creation of those special zones?
Yeah, well, I think that by the next budget, we want to have that those areas identified, and that it already exists. There is a special investment act that exists for Linden. Many people don't know this, that investment in Linden are treated differently. So I know the AG is already drafting what the structure would look like. It's now identifying those zones and going to Parliament.
Mr. President, you spoke about the second power plant and how that will aid in the growth of the manufacturing sector. Do you think that Guyanese are poised to capitalize on the opportunities that will be available then? I think
Guyanese are already capitalizing. But what they need is the foreign investment. And this is why I encourage persons to come to this conference, because this gives you an opportunity to network. This gives you an opportunity to build that local partnership. The local private sector, they have the know-how. They understand the market. They understand the culture. The foreign companies have the technology. They have a bit more capital. When we match that, we get a perfect outcome. So that is why I think this conference is key, because it brings that local firepower and match it with the international firepower and gives us an opportunity to build this partnership, because that is what we want, partnership, and creating that network. So now coming back to energy, we want to be a net producer of energy. What that means is that we must play a role in the energy production in the region, whether we talk about connecting to Suriname, connecting to northern Brazil. But let me give you a simple example. I said recently that I want the energy plant to come that also supports a data center, because data center utilizes tremendous energy. If our energy costs can make a data center competitive, why not have a data center here? A major data center that can create upskilled jobs, higher paying jobs. So all of this would add to that ecosystem that not only look at energy as an output, but energy as an integrator, energy as a component of the economic diversification that creates opportunity for the other sector. That is what we're looking at.
Mr. President, a bit more on the conference. The conference is emphasizing business-to-business connections. This is something that you've been talking about a lot. Can you perhaps tell us a bit about why you think this model works?
I think the model works for many reasons, especially when the model integrates regional and international partners, because regional partners bring their own differential advantages. They come from an economy, and I'm sure their economy want to see them grow. So it advances the connectivity of economies. Many people look at the connectivity of business and the networking and the creation of a larger scale company, and they combine their effort in technology, people, capital. But I see something that sometimes people don't look at. If you have more investors from the Caribbean investing in Guyana, more investors from the Middle East, more investors from the US, then it pushes their economy to support them. And when they're pushed and they push their economy, then the bureaucratic delays sometimes and the artificial blockade that is there, that hampers trade, is better served and easier to be removed. Take, for example, if we have a major investor out of the Caribbean who want to do all the processing of our peppers and then the bottling of our peppers to serve the whole region, then it's in the interest of that major investor to see that in their economy, the artificial blockade that prevent this is removed. So, and we are the only country in the region that is positioned to do this at scale, not because of our own size geographically, but because of our access to a market in northern Brazil that produces every single product at scale. So bringing that in and adding value to it, and then transferring that value, because when you add a certain level of value, the product becomes accessible to the trade arrangements within the market. So that is why I think this conference is important. I think that not only, and the organizers of the conference too are persons who have been in the local private sector for a very, very long time. They understand the local private sector. They have excellent network in the local private sector. And I believe that together, and you know, I look forward to also hosting some of these investors who are coming so that we can have informal and formal channel through which we can go through some of these very topics that you raise and have an opportunity to engage them on how we are building out the economy and the type of opportunity that exists here. But there is no better place for investment than Guyana at the moment. And more importantly, if you don't do it now, I tell people, in 2 to 3 years, it will be too expensive for you to do.
Anything else you'd like to answer?
And the only thing I would like to say is that, you know, as we build out this economy, I'm very pleased that we're focusing on manufacturing and agro-processing, because the diversification that we're seeking to achieve places these two sectors high up on the agenda. The only thing I want to see added very soon is to bring in the large-scale tourism operators and tourism investors, so they can see the product that we have, because we're investing heavily in the hinterland, in airstrips, in infrastructure, to make it easier, more inexpensive to get to these most beautiful locations on earth. And that will be a great addition, because I see this conference as an important one that speaks to the diversification of the economy.
Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you very much.
Up next, DR and Guyana Relations with President of the Dominican Guyana Chamber of Commerce.
My name is Miguel Angel Gonzalez. I'm the President of the Dominican Chamber of Commerce in Guyana and also President of the Guyana Chamber of Commerce in the Dominican Republic. We've established this bilateral chamber in order to support both countries as a bridge to doing commerce. We started this initiative about a year and a half ago when we first came to venture for new projects. We came as a private sector entity looking at opportunities. We saw the potential. So we invited we collaborated with the Dominican government in the first delegation that came. We were about 200 businessmen, which was the men and women, which was the largest delegation of the private sector to ever leave the Dominican Republic. So that within itself was a historic moment for the private sector in the Dominican Republic, and a testament to our excitement and enthusiasm to collaborate with Guyana. Later on, there was a reciprocal visit from President Ali to the Dominican Republic, where we were able to showcase what Dominican Republic can do for Guyana. That also was a very large delegation. It was, to my understanding, the largest delegation that has left from Guyana to another country. So those were 100 businessmen that accompanied President Ali to the Dominican Republic. We were able to visit various sectors. We were able to showcase our aviation sector, showcase the airports, tourism, energy, a number of different companies and private sector initiatives that could come to Guyana to explore opportunities. The relationship is special for a variety of reasons. First, we're very close. We're only a 2.5 hour flight away. Now, thanks to Sky High, we have direct flights 3 times a week. There's similarities in culture, there's similarities in food, there's similarities in what makes us part of the Caribbean. So for us, it's an honor to help a Caribbean brother, grow and be a part of that growth with them. I think a lot of the things that separated us in the past were also cultural differences, because we speak Spanish in the Dominican Republic, and we've done more trade with other countries in LATAM and the US and Europe more so than in the Caribbean. So you'll notice that we're not in CARICOM, but we have taken steps now to closer the relationship between the Caribbean and this new generation of businessmen in the Dominican Republic do speak English. There is no language barrier anymore. There's more, we have an institutional approach, but yet we have the Caribbean mindset, so we can play both, play on both sides of the table. And like I've said before, it's not intimidating when you're speaking to a group of Dominicans, because you're speaking to family members. Although we have institutions, our board is conformed of family members. So you're speaking to a father and a son and a brother versus a board of different people that are only there representing an owner. So when Guyanese have the opportunity to speak to us, it's comforting and it's not intimidating. And I feel that there's a lot of value added to that dynamic, and it becomes more personal. In the Dominican Chamber, we decided to pull out the calendar and see what are the top events that we could showcase the Dominican Republic in, and that could be of benefit to our members in the Dominican Republic, and vice versa, our members here in Guyana. So this forum is one of those key events, and we feel it's a wonderful opportunity, not only for Dominicans to showcase what they can offer, but also for all the regional players, including Guyana and Suriname, to showcase what they have to offer. That platform is, at the end of the day, the social aspect of it is where you create the connection, and these platforms allow for that. And I feel it's a wonderful opportunity for everybody involved. Again, it's a wonderful opportunity for them to come, and the B2B meetings, establishing B2B meetings is at the forefront of all these initiatives. So to be able to, with time in advance, maybe put in the agenda who you're going to see before you come, and maybe even interact with them a little bit virtually before actually coming here, is a wonderful step towards creating a partnership or some sort of commercial relationship, and also to spend some time with them on a social level once they're here, and vice versa for people coming abroad, or people from Guyana that want to meet Dominicans. It's a wonderful platform. I'll use a phrase that a good friend of mine, Peter Ramsbrook, always says. It's basically here between Guyana and Suriname, you're twinning the products. Okay, so by twinning the products is we have an opportunity now to mirror what we're investing in Guyana to invest in Suriname, and that within itself is a wonderful thing. Dominicans will have the opportunity to showcase their services and products to both countries within the same forum.
Up next, industry highlight, Sultan Dinur, Elgawa.
Hello everyone, my name is Sultan Dinur and I am the team leader of Elgawa. Elgawa is basically electrical, gas and water. We took those words and we put it together. And those are the three disciplines of engineering that we work in.
Perfect. Can you tell me a bit of the services that you offer and tell me a bit about each of those services? I know I read online that you do plumbing and a few other stuff. Can we get into that?
Definitely. Some of the services that we offer, mind you, is not only services, we do sales and service. So for the electrical sector, we cover a wide range of equipment and also maintenance services. Some of those equipment are generators, which is our Generac generators. We have Train AC, which is our HVAC solutions. We also endeavor in major electrical projects. And for the water segment or the water discipline, this is where the plumbing comes in. We're the only company actually that can design plumbing solutions and then implement it. We do everything from design to implementation of plumbing projects in the country. We also work directly with our manufacturers, so we cut out that middleman, so we offer the best prices and gives the best solution. For the gas aspect of the company, this is where our Generac brand is really strong because we're the only company that is authorized for the LPG generators. So this is the liquid propane gas or natural gas generators. And we do both sales and services of these types of equipment, both for residential and industrial solutions.
Great, and I'm happy that you touched on industrial solutions because as you know, Guyana is undergoing immense economic transformation. We're actually the fastest growing economy in the world. And so on that industrial side, you just highlighted your services and I want you to tell me, how do you think your services address the current market needs in Guyana as you're currently developing, or addresses challenges that we may be facing while going through this developmental stage?
So obviously we all know that Guyana is going through a boom, an economic boom, a infrastructural boom especially. And of course it's owed to the oil and gas industry. And so we're primed in this field because one of the major things when it comes to infrastructure that Guyana needs are engineering companies. And companies like us who offers solution, not only selling equipment or sell an item or only maintain an item. We offer the complete solution with our equipment that we offer. And our equipment are specially designed for the industry, as was mentioned before, and it is tailored to the growing economy that we are getting, which is more high level rather than not low level what we're accustomed to, but we are now getting into that area where we want better quality at higher prices. And that is where our product is.
Perfect. And not just tailored to Guyana alone. Off camera, we spoke a bit about your operations, and it's not just secluded to Guyana. So can you tell us about your operations in Suriname and what services you provide there? If they're similar, if they're different, how is there synergy between your operations in both countries?
Yes, so actually Elgawa was birthed in Suriname. Elgawa started in 1958, so we have over 65 years of experience in the disciplines of electricity, in the discipline of gas, and of course in the discipline of the water engineering aspect of it. And how we work is that you spoke about synergy. So when we have major projects in the country, the beauty of having a location in both countries is that we can, first of all, serve both countries. We know Suriname is now going through the same economic and infrastructural boom, or there will be rather, because of the advent of oil and gas. So we have that opportunity to serve both countries. What we do here right now is with the labor force that we have in Suriname, when we have major projects in Guyana, then it's easy to bring over labor and bring over the expertise, especially when it comes to design, especially when it comes to installation. We have that flexibility. And of course, because both countries are now going through and will go through this oil and gas boom, Elgawa is primed to be one of the major suppliers for both countries for our electrical equipment.
Perfect. And I love how you spoke about synergy, particularly between Guyana and Suriname. Another example of synergy is the International Business Conference that's coming up, which is actually being co-hosted by the Suriname-Guyana Chamber. Of course, that reflects the history between Guyana and Suriname, particularly as it relates to trade and investment. And I know that Elwa is on board as an associate partner for the International Business Conference. Can you tell me a bit of how your company decided to come on board as a sponsor and why you decided to come on board?
First of all, the director of the company for both countries is actually an executive member of the Suriname Chamber of Commerce. So first of all, that gave us a definite answer as to why we had to be an associate sponsor. Nevertheless, even if we did not have direct ties with the Chamber of Commerce, the Suriname Chamber of Commerce, we saw it fit initially to be a part of a conference like this because, first of all, Guyana has never been a part of a big international business-to-business conference of this magnitude. I mean, we have a lot of conferences that started since the advent of oil and gas. We had the Oil and Gas Conference, there is Building Expo, there were other major conferences, but never one that caters for direct face-to-face contact, where you can meet companies that can actually work with you, or potential companies and potential clients that you can network with and build a long-lasting bond to grow you and the other companies. So this is something very refreshing, definitely for marketing. For our company, we decided to be an associate sponsor because we know of multiple countries that will be a part of the expo, and we definitely want to be a part of marketing ourselves to those countries also, especially countries and companies that are coming to Guyana to work.
Perfect. And I love how you zeroed in on networking because we know that that's a critical and crucial aspect for businesses looking to expand, and how key it is to meet like-minded business persons that probably share your vision and would like to help you increase your capacity. Can you tell me what you're looking forward to most at the International Business Conference, and also based on the operations of your company, what other companies do you see a synergy with, like you mentioned before? What companies are you looking to meet with and speak with at the IBC?
Definitely what I am looking for, and by extension when I say Elgawa as a whole, because we are taking a big contingent to be a part of this networking opportunity. We're looking for companies that align with our values. We're looking for companies that align with our technical expertise. So because we're in the engineering and the technical aspects, then we're definitely looking to have networking opportunities with technical companies that would want to come and be a part of the burgeoning oil and gas industry, and of course to be a part of Guyana's development.
Perfect. So my last ask for you then would be, if you were to say one line or two to encourage other companies that operate within your sector or within a sector that can complement your company/sector, what would you say is the most value that they can get out of attending this conference, and what call to action would you give to encourage them to ensure that they are part of this conference? And this is speaking to both local and international stakeholders.
So what I can say is that this would be like a reiteration point. There has never been a formal international networking event of this magnitude where you can speak to multiple countries, or more so multiple companies of various countries that you find valuable. And of course we know Guyana has a lot of work. There is enough room to have technical companies like ours, and there is enough room for us to partner with multiple companies. So definitely the value that you're going to get from this IBC is unheard of, and I would recommend many companies, especially the major ones in Guyana, to definitely be a part of this conference.
Perfect.